Today I will be flipping through the very first junk journal I ever made on Flip Through Friday. So let's take a peek at what's inside. And go easy on me in the comments. This was my very first attempt at making a junk journal. But there are some things here that I absolutely love. So let's take a look. First thing is starting with the cover. So this is a paper bag journal, and I covered the cover in tissue paper, and all I used was glue stick, but it makes a texture. It sounds crunchy, but it feels like leather. It's so durable. This is a technique that I absolutely love, and I do this a lot. I put the tissue paper on paper bag because I like the way it feels. Now, right away, one thing that I noticed when I went back and kind of looked through it after making more journals is I cut the pages pretty short. I cut the pages pretty short on the inside. So this is pretty colorful, as you can see, when I created November 2023. I only heard about junk journaling in September. So a note that I wrote to myself. This envelope and note is of course made out of book paper. Piece of coloring page that I colored and then glued on. This little piece of collage was interesting to me. It looks like nothing, but this piece and this piece, the yellow and the pink, came out of a book that I used to read to my daughter when she was 3 and 4 years old, called Anansi the Spider. So I think that's the thing about junk journals. When you make them yourself, sometimes you can see little bits and pieces of things that were precious to you along the way. So there's a mixture of papers in here, and all of them are like papers that I gathered. This was when I first started my journey, so everything was things that were around the house and they had some kind of significance. Like, for example, this tissue paper had come out of a gift that one of my students gave me. This paper was part of actually a journal that I had cut apart. I used most of the pages, but it has lines, and then along the edges of the journal it had these doodles for you to color in. Now, I am a 70s baby, so I grew up on Sesame Street, so there's a lot of little Sesame Street stuff in this journal that I cut out of an old book. This was a little golden book dictionary, an attempt at coffee dyed paper, but it actually was a piece of coffee filter. Oh, on the back I have lines for journaling. And this is actually another little paper bag that I got a gift in, so I kept that. Some washi tape that I love. If this is your first time at Flip Through Friday, welcome. If this is a return trip to Flip Through Friday, welcome back. So I say that now to say this. If you've been in Flip Through Friday before, you know that I love miniatures. I love mini things. So I have all these little cutouts. So this for me would be like a little canvas that I can color in and have a little tiny piece of art. Book page, coffee dyed, my first time. Tissue paper, book page, line paper. So this is school line paper for like a primary school or learning handwriting. So I always include that because I love it. Little piece of, again, a school themed scrapbook paper. I'm a teacher, so it's always going to be important to me, anything related to school. I just thought this was cute. And it actually, this station wagon type car reminds me of one of the cars my grandmother had when I was growing up. Now here, this was a piece of not a music book, but it was a book that it explains all types of things. And then on one side, it was giving that explanation of the instruments, and then it had a piece of music paper on the other side. So I thought that was cool. Sesame Street, Cookie Monster, and Oscar the Grouch. Then in here, this piece of paper I kept for so long. It has these hearts on it. I used it a long time ago to make cash envelopes. I made my own cash envelopes. For those who are into budgeting, cash envelope stuffing. And I'm just coming up close so you can see that little washi tape, Simply Gilded. I got that in a Happy Mail some years ago. I thought I did a pretty good job with the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I love doing 3-hole pamphlet stitch, so sometimes I leave the strings long and I add beads. Sometimes I cut them short, but I think I make a pretty nice job of that. Just some tickets as a fold out. The little pocket, Sesame Street, Big Bird, and what's his name? Oh, I can't think of his name. Now this is a piece of that little golden book, and it's, well, let's see if I can get this out of here. Little tiny envelope. Little tiny, I don't know, some of you, if you caught that, it said happy non-anniversary. This was, I think, the date that I actually, it would have been my wedding anniversary, but then it said divorce at 40 is crazy. There's no big deal. Another little pocket. So this actually, this piece, oh, can I find the other? I was making this inside piece as like a little folder with the scrapbook paper. Pocket. Here's the other side of the paper bag. And then this little piece in here. Again, something that I was trying out. So this is a coffee filter, and I just cut it up into pieces. I like the texture of it, and I love the color of it. And this was my first journal, so again, a lot of this was just trying out some of the things that I saw on videos, saw other people doing, and I said like, oh, I'll give that a try. That looks like I can do it. So over here, like an attempt at collage. And this quote, I think, is very fitting for this type of journal. It's kind of simple, kind of rustic. It's just things that I like put together. And a piece of tissue paper, and then this other little envelope. So it's made out of book page, and I was just trying out different envelope shapes, and then of course now I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh, I love those dots, those colored dots, but I could probably add some stuff up there, a little tiny collage or something. So I pull this one out all the time, and I just look through it just because I like it. I think it's cute. So I keep working in it. I hope you've enjoyed this week's Flip Through Friday. Please let me know in the comments. Also, if you think someone else would enjoy it, share it with them. Again, another beginner, someone who may be in a slump for ideas and needs to take it back to the more simple concepts of junk journaling, or just someone maybe you think they might be interested in starting a junk journal journey of their own. Until next Flip Through Friday, have a wonderful week.